I'd like to call to order the Public Improvement Commission hearing of September 21st, 2017. The first item of our poll hearing is on a joint petition by Eversource Energy and Verizon New England to relocate one utility pole on Millmont Street in Roxbury, located on its northeasterly side, northwest of Lambert Street.
Morning, Rick Schifoni from Eversource Electric.
Chanel Grant from Eversource Electric.
Rick, if you can walk us through the proposal.
Actually, this work is going to be done by Verizon, but since we both jointly own the pole, we're here to be with Verizon, just running a little bit late. And all we're really doing is just not adding any additional poles. We're relocating an existing pole back to make room for new work. What type of pole? It's a 40-foot wooden pole, just a standard wooden pole.
And you've done your spectral calculations or the existing loading?
Existing loading, the loading's on either side of the pole, so there's no additional stress on the pole that's being relocated.
Mr. Schifo, Rick, while I have your attention, not related to this, but there's a collateral concern that I haven't had a chance to bring it to the Commission's attention. On American Legion Highway, years back, when we rebuilt that street, there's a collective understanding that there should not be overhead wires that cross the right-of-way. You know, like in downtown area, it's an underground district to the extent that any overhead wires are to be on either side of that street. To highlight that point, the intersection of American Legion Highway, Cummings and Canterbury, we undergrounded all the wires. Now what I have seen is over the years, you all are extending your pole lines, but you are also crossing the street. Case in point is, look at American Legion Highway near Morton Street. That type of work is not going to be viewed favorably through this commission because the ISD commissioner, there's a wire policy. This commission do look into matters of this nature. We are extremely sensitive to the wire pollution. Okay? So don't let things get to a stage where this commission may ask you to cut the wires to ensure the investment the city keeps making. So please have staff look at that matter and report back to the city through the Public Improvement Commission.
So there's a particular concern about Morton Street at
on American Legion Highway,
okay.
Around Morton Street, you are putting new taller poles, and then you are crossing the wires. Okay, so now there's wire pollution.
Understood.
Yeah, we have no choice when you go from a smaller pole to a larger pole, but we do have a concern when that view corridor is interrupted with wires. If you want to understand that further, pretend that you're on VFW Parkway, and do you think whether any of us would be tolerating wires crossing those parkways? I know the answer to that question. So please look into it and report back, because someone is doing things without this commission's permission. Or if there is permission, I want to know where we are dropping the ball.
I'll go back to our engineering group and get an explanation of what happened.
Thanks, Rick. You might have mentioned this, but what is necessitating the move of this particular pole? The driveway. And the pole will remain in front of the same property, so it's not moving in front of the church, it's staying in front of that same property. It's shifting 15 feet further down that property line. Okay. Other questions or comments on this particular item? Amy or Todd?
Yep.
Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this first item.
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by Eversource Energy and Verizon New England to relocate one utility pole on Millmont Street. It's read it to the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. The next item is on a joint petition by Eversource Energy and Verizon New England Inc. to install one utility pole on Rustfield Street in Roxbury, located on its southeasterly side, northeast of Allerton Street.
Yeah, again, this pole is being relocated, customer convenience across the street to allow for their construction. We're not adding any additional poles to the system, it's just a relocation of an existing pole with a straight wooden pole.
Again, Rick, when you all are installing that pole due to its proximity to the ramp, ensure that you all take care so as not to further exacerbate the current conditions of the ramp that is at the corner of that intersection.
Understood, yeah, we're actually away from the...
But sometimes
Understood.
you know how it all plays out.
So as the plans annotated, JOVZN 12-8-1, is that on private property?
No, that's a public way pole.
But the way it's annotated on the plan, it's back a sidewalk in, off the public right of way?
Correct.
So it's a
That's the
private.
existing one, but depending, normally the public way may extend beyond the back of sidewalk.
And who is the contractor developer?
Suffolk Construction.
So this is the Suffolk headquarters,
I'm not 100% sure.
Allerton Street?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Just let them know that they need to get me a construction management plan prior to construction.
Yeah, it's CM.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other questions or comments on this particular item? Amir Todd, members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on the second item.
I'll make a motion to approve the joint petition by Eversource Energy and Verizon New England, Inc. to install one utility pole on Rustfield Street, Roxbury, located on its southeasterly side, northeast of Allerton Street, with a caveat that Suffolk Construction submit to the City of Boston Transportation Department the applicable construction management plan prior to the...
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Moving on to the public hearing. The first item is on a petition by KOA and Company for the approval of the line and grade of Kinsale Lane, a public way in Hyde Park, from Milton Ave to a point northeasterly, located generally across from Farwell Avenue. This was new business on August 24th, 2017. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Line and Grade Plan, Kinsale Lane, Boston, Hyde Park, 3 sheets dated September 20th, 2017. Good morning.
Good morning. Steve Sawyer, Design Consulting. I'm here with Dennis Cohane, the applicant, and Patrick Mahoney, the attorney on the project. Since the last meeting at the PIC, there was some questions which we've addressed. One thing that was asked, that we showed the potential home locations on the project here. So this would be the location along with the offset requirements to meet the zoning in that area. 9,000 square foot lots, these are all conforming lots, so the maximum potential build out would be the 8 lots. Another item was the lighting. We did coordinate the lighting with Public Works. The request is for lights at 75 feet, 19-foot precast poles with the 45-watt LED Ariata fixture. They've been added to the plan. The final item, actually, I have not heard back from Paul Donga, unfortunately. There's been a couple phone calls and emails. He said he would get back with any questions. It was a little over a week ago. He'd get back with questions. However, the layout here, for typical Hammerhead, this is the requirement for a turnaround. It meets the requirements for an SU-30, which also would be a ladder truck. We've also located a hydrant. Typically a hydrant is requested at the beginning, so when the truck drives in, they can hook up and drive, drop their hoses, hook up and drive into the fire. And also there's a hydrant at the end for flushing purposes. Let's see, the other items here I did add, there was a request to add the utilities. Those have all been added to the plans. Just a reminder, we did coordinate the drainage with DPW and Boston Water Sewer. Basically, there's a high point here that drains to the rear. There's a couple catch basins, a water quality unit, and a large dry well. The overflow flows back out. It's all, everything's hard piped to the Milton Ave drainage system. 8-inch, 8 new 8-inch water line, and also a new 8-inch sewer line to service the project. As far as the roundings, in coordination actually with Todd and in the neighborhood, I looked at the neighborhood there, all of the roundings are 6 feet in that area. They're all built to 6 foot. So we tightened this up to 6. It appears most of the roads are 26 feet wide. So we matched that. And as far as parking restrictions, I noticed in all it's just small residential homes in that area. There's no parking restrictions throughout the area with the 26-foot wide roadways. One thing we did do is in this hammerhead area, you need to keep that clear for turnaround purposes. So what we have is we have a no parking sign at the beginning of the hammerhead and then at either side of the hammerhead. Also, we've shown the curb cuts for the potential home locations. I think I'll have Dennis speak briefly about neighborhood coordination.
So, before you move on, relatively traffic and parking, obviously one of the issues that we run into all the time is about the definition of the street, two-way, one-way, parking on one side, etc. So we're basically going out now after the fact, basically installing that signage to reinforce what the direction of the streets are. I know what you're saying about traditional streets and not having regulations, but moving forward now, we're installing that signage on these streets to clearly articulate how that street operates. Additionally, pavement markings, we've got new ramps going in with a crosswalk across the street. That should be included on the plan too. Street name signs, very important, need to be annotated on the plan. Is this going to be a private way?
We're requesting it to be a public way.
So it's going to be a public way street name sign. Have you done any analysis for a stop sign at the street and Milton Avenue as far as a warrant analysis for a stop sign?
We have not.
Okay, that's going to be required too, because that's the first thing we get from residents is basically the public safety issue of stop control, etc. So just have that ready.
Is the site plan for this still in process at Boston Water and Sewer?
The site plan is preliminary approval, but we have not finalized for the street, has not been finalized. Each of these lots are going to have to go before, there will be a separate application for each of the homes.
But there'll also be an application for the utilities in the street, right?
Correct.
I'm just surprised because I believe our minimum sewer size is now 10, not 8.
Okay.
And our minimum drain size is 12, not 10.
There was a preliminary rule, I did review Phil.
I'll make sure that we get that coordinated with you. It doesn't have much bearing on, say, PIC approval.
Yeah.
However, if this is going to become a public street and BWSC takes over the water sewer drain, it'll need to be built to our standards with as-built accepted by the commission before we take over the utilities. So it's good to get ahead of it.
Okay.
To further
I'll make those revisions when I.
Yeah, we can coordinate that separate from this process.
To further the point which Mr. Nelson made, there's going to be a point in time where PIC takes action as establishing the line and grade of a street. It becomes a public street after all construction has been done of the street, of your building units. Are you doing them under market condition, meaning are you building them like house by house and see if they are getting sold? Or are you building all the houses? The point I am concerned about is the street, if we the city are to take over the street, it needs to be in good condition, okay? During your house construction, the construction vehicles tend to make things a little bit awkward on that street. The day the city takes over the street, it needs to be after all your work has been done, after the city has accepted the utilities, lighting, all of that. So during your construction, it will still remain as a private street until the city takes it over. So you folks have to go through Public Works and through Public Improvement Commission. There's a checklist system that is there. So during construction, if anything awkward happens within that street, it is still your responsibility.
I think typically this construction process, they give utilities and binder it upon completion of the homes.
Of all the houses,
final top, and then they come in for the acceptance.
Got it. Okay, at that point, then the liability of that street comes on to the city of Boston, but until such time, it's private property.
Private, maintained privately.
Got it.
And I think also one of the major concerns is the sidewalks. You'll need to, basically utility service connections, the construction vehicles, you're aware. So
Yeah.
obviously, how you proceed with that is.
Yeah, we could work that out. You do it temporary, you come in, you do it temporarily with thin coat of bit, then you come back at the end and dress it with concrete, finish it with concrete.
Yeah, we build the driveway aprons until the house is built.
Yeah,
Because under the first snowstorm, imagine the scenario where you have sold a house, someone's living over there, and they're going to ask who is going to shovel the street. That's on you. Okay?
Other questions or comments?
Are we voting, are they gonna,
Do these things, yeah, right.
you need 2 more weeks for your comments?
I mean, it's
warrant
gonna be part of
analysis.
the record, and they need to submit those plans before they're gonna be issued permits.
Yeah, the stop
Sign
sign.
analysis,
Okay.
lighting plan, the
So
markings.
yeah, they got markings, stop sign warning.
And
Commissioner
showing the
Nelson's,
street sign,
concerns. And obviously, we'll let you know, but when you come to do the actual work and pull the permits, unless that's submitted.
Yeah,
So add parking signs, street name signs,
Yeah.
give him his stop sign, and
Yeah.
we'll need something from the fire department.
condition, yeah.
And just to be clear, you want a warrant analysis, not necessarily.
Not a stop sign, you want a
Right.
warrant analysis,
Right.
that this is basically prove that it does or does not meet
Yes.
the warrant for the stop sign.
And if it does, then a stop sign, if not, then right.
And all of the appropriate pipe sizes for Boston Water and Sewer.
Yeah.
Yes. Other questions or comments? No. Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion on a petition by the Cohane Company for the approval of the line and grade of Kinsale Lane, as read into the record by the chair, shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division, line and grade plan, Kinsale Lane, Boston, 3 sheets dated September 20, 2017.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is on a petition by JDMD Owner LLC for the discontinuance of any and all rights to travel. The public may have had within a portion of Temple Street, a public way in Boston proper, on its westerly side, generally north of Dern Street. This was new business on September 7th, 2017. This is as shown on a petition entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Surface Discontinuance Plan, the Archer and Donahue Buildings, 33-61 Temple Street, Boston proper, 1 sheet, dated August 24th, 2017.
Right. Good morning, members of the commission. My name is Leo Corcoran, and I'm here representing JDMD Owner LLC. The project will convert an educational institutional building formerly owned by Suffolk University into 70 residential condominiums. In connection with the redevelopment, the facade of certain parts of the building will change. Such changes will result in encroachments onto the sidewalks surrounding the building and therefore require vertical and surface discontinuances. I'm here with our architect, Jay Szymanski from the architectural team, and Chris Iannuzzi, our civil engineer from EBI, and we are happy to answer any questions you have on the discontinuances.
Can you just remind us of the width of the discontinuance that you are seeking?
Should we start with the surface or the
Surface.
Yeah.
So, the existing building actually encroaches already by 0.42 over the property line. So we're proposing to reskin this entire building, take all the veneer off of it, put on a new skin. The existing construction had that brick veneer directly on the face of the structural frame of the building, concrete, with no cavity, with no insulation behind it. So when we put on a new skin, we propose to build a proper cavity behind that for water management and continuous insulation behind it to meet current building code requirements. So we're showing a request for 1.28 beyond the property line.
Can you see who has fee ownership of this? So they are conforming to
Yes, so this is a PIC appraisal process.
PSF
Yeah.
property. do we have an idea when does the actual appraisal get done? Now,
haven't.
before you have it?
Yeah.
So these folks are
Yeah,
aware of it?
we don't want them to propose something until they know how much it's gonna
Right,
cost.
so they are aware of the dollar value?
Yep.
And they understand the process for the transfer of said funds through said means?
Yep.
And so the total discontinuance is around 188 square feet, is that right?
Yes.
Other questions or comments about this particular action?
So the public coordination, I did receive a call from Ben Starr from Beacon Hills Civic Association. Rabbit, the proponents here, did give a presentation, which I appreciate. He's fully on board with that, and I think that was a good meeting. Construction matter plan, signature should be today, based on this hearing and stuff like that. So everything's been dotted, crossed, so transportation's
Other questions or comments? Jamie or Todd? Members of the public? I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve petition by JDMD, owner LLC for the discontinuance. And any and all rights to travel in the public way may have held for a portion of Temple Street, as read into the record by the chair, and shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Surface Discontinuance Plan, Archer and Donahue Buildings, 3361 Temple Street, Boston proper. One sheet dated August 24th, 2017.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. The next item is on a petition by JD, hold on. We got one more.
Need it.
The next item is on a petition by JDMD owner LLC for the vertical discontinuance of portions of the following public ways in Boston proper, vertically above the grade of the sidewalk. Locations are Temple Street on its westerly side, generally north of Dern Street, Ridgeway Lane on its easterly side, generally north of Dern Street. This was new business on September 7th, 2017, and this is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Vertical Discontinuance Plan, the Archer and Donahue Buildings, 33-61 Temple Street, Boston proper, one sheet dated August 24th, 2017.
Okay, we'll turn things over to Jay.
So we're asking for 4 vertical discontinuances. Number 1, number 2, and number 4 are all for windowsill projections that occur above grade, and they vary in height. Discontinuance 1 starts 54.9 feet above grade. Number 2 starts 20.9 feet above grade. Number 4 is 19.9 feet above grade. Again, they're approximately 4-inch projections from the face of the building. Vertical discontinuance number 3 is for proposed entry canopy, which happens here on Temple Street. That's approximately 4.19 feet from the property line, projection over the sidewalk, and that occurs 10 feet above grade.
Again, maybe they understand the appraised value
Yep.
of
It all came in one appraisal.
one appraisal.
Questions or comments on this item? Jamie or Todd? All right. Members of the public? All right. Entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition by JDMD, owner LLC, for the vertical discontinuation of portions of the following public ways in Boston proper, vertically above the grade of the sidewalk. All is read into the record by the chair and is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Vertical Discontinuance Plan, the Archer and Donahue Buildings, 3361 Temple Street, Boston proper. One sheet dated August 24th, 2017.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Better than I do.
The next item is on a joint petition by 1065 Tremont Street LLC and the Boston Redevelopment Authority for the vertical discontinuance of portions of St. Cyprian's Place, a public way in Roxbury, located on its northeasterly side, generally northwest of Tremont Street, vertically above the grade of the sidewalk. This was new business on September 7th, 2017. This is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Vertical Discontinuance Plan, 1065 Tremont Street, Phase 2. Tremont Street and St. Cyprian's Place, Boston, Roxbury, one sheet dated August 29th, 2017. Good morning.
Morning.
My name's Kelly Robbins. I'm here on behalf of 1065 Tremont Street LLC. I'm here with Eileen Brophy from the BPDA. As the BPDA is the co-petitioner on our request for vertical discontinuance. 1065 Tremont Street Phase 2 is a 31,500 square foot building consisting of 6 stories. It will be used as 28 residential units. As part of our architectural plans, we are planning to build bay windows which overhang the sidewalk owned by the City of Boston. Those bay windows are approximately 3 feet deep and 8 feet wide. They start at 10 feet above the sidewalk, and you can see that the discontinuance is on 4 stories in 3 separate bays, consisting of approximately 276 square feet of vertical discontinuance.
I think you asked this, or answered this in new business, but that 3-foot projection and this phase, how does it compare with the?
I did speak to the architect about that, and the projections are the same on the existing
uniform
building,
in
so
that.
that it'll be congruent between the two.
Right. Other questions or comments on this proposal?
So as a matter of, the new business process, it was asked to get the construction management plan that was submitted. It's currently under review. We appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Demir Todd, members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'll make a motion on a joint petition by 1065 Tremont Street LLC and the Boston Redevelopment Authority for the vertical discontinuance of portions of St. Cyprian's Place, public way, as read into the record by the chair, and is shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Vertical Discontinuance Plan, 1065 Tremont Street, Phase 2, Tremont Street and St. Cyprian's Place, Boston, one sheet dated August 29, 2017.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
The next item is on a petition by 186 Communications LLC for the rental of City Shadow to install new telecommunications fiber in existing conduit within the following public ways in Boston proper: Brookline Avenue, generally between Overland Street and Boylston Street and Park Drive, and Boylston Street, generally west of Massachusetts Avenue. This was new business on September 7th, 2017. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Brookline Avenue to Massachusetts Avenue at Boylston Street, Boston, 3 sheets dated August 2017.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Jay Dunn from Wade Guide on behalf of 186 Communications.
Jeff Harrington from 186 Communications.
This petition is for City Shadow, East City Shadow, Brookline Ave. Helps us, Brookline Ave, we're piecing through some other conduit in that area, and then a small piece on Boylston Street, once again to piece together some other conduit that wasn't available for either Verizon or other parties. So it's a total of 903 feet between both sections.
Maybe everything is how it should be
This is what we
once
hope
in a
for.
while. Thank you.
Is this conduit the recent installation by Mira?
No, this is existing that was done under MCI, which was, I'm trying to remember who they bought, WorldCom back in the day. That was done by McCourt in that system. And those are the ones that we're trying to use.
Just from my knowledge, a portion of this is in DCR area on Brookline Avenue. How's that work for permitting?
We only permit through our jurisdiction.
Okay, because basically Brookline Avenue from the circle, probably about 300 feet up is DCR.
Heading back towards Fenway. Heading back towards Fenway.
Towards
Okay,
Fenway.
okay.
Right adjacent to the Sears building.
Okay.
So just make sure that when you are pulling the permits that you, because
Yeah, for this one, it'll actually matter if we gave the initial grant, then we give the amended grant, because it's, if they're in City Shadow, it's still City Shadow.
Right, that's what I was thinking, but
Yeah.
when you pull the permit, you'll have to get a permit from the DCR on their portion of the roadway.
that involves state police to issue and
It's jurisdictional.
jurisdiction.
Yep, that's fine.
For construction.
Yeah.
Other questions or comments? Amir Todd, members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to approve petition by 186 Communications LLC for the rental of city shadow conduit in Brookline Avenue and Boylston Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. The next item is on a joint petition by 186 Communications LLC and Verizon New England Inc. to amend a grant of location to install new telecommunication fiber and existing conduit within Ipswich Street, a public way in Boston proper, generally between Lansdowne Street and Boylston Street. This was new business on September 7th, 2017. And this is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Brookline Avenue to Massachusetts Avenue, Boylston Street, Boston, 3 sheets dated August 2017.
Yeah, once again, this is to piece that run together, so we continue on from the city shadow up into Lease Horizon corporate conduit in that area. Approximately 1,171 feet of lease conduit to connect the city shadow and the next petition, of which be MCI Horizon Business Conduit. I did want to talk with Todd, make a point. Verizon New England's position now is they actually don't want to be a joint petitioner. Feedback from their legal team is they give authorization based on the fact they've issued a license to 186 Communications, which is referenced, will be referenced in the petition in the agreement, but their position is they don't want to be an actual petitioner as part of this project.
Do we,
So they've
right,
signed this one, but they will not sign, they're telling these guys that they will not sign future
for
petitions.
subsequent ones,
Yeah.
but this, it does not change this item,
Right.
but it would change subsequent
Yes.
ones. Okay.
Right, so I guess,
It should be fine. Basically, we are running location for Verizon for 186 to put their interlock into Verizon conduit. In the past practice, we require a joint petition between the current location holder, which is Verizon for this case. But since then, we a letter of authorization from them or license agreement between 186 with the current holder side, that's fine.
so if they come out of
Sorry.
the Verizon process with documentation for the ability to be in their conduit, then we can use that to support the petition here.
Now, will we take this position on any party leasing someone else's?
For an amended grant, we've
Amended
given the
grant.
grant of location to Verizon.
Yes, no, but let's assume it's another location, it's an amended grant of location from a level 3 owned system. Are we
Right,
going to follow?
then they would have to produce documentation from
From
level
level
3
three. So
saying
we
that
are
they have
changing our
permission,
policies.
and then we would use that permission for this application.
Separate thought, would you be agreeable to sharing with PIC staff the actual cost of your lease agreement with Verizon for the conduits which you are leasing from them? Would you be okay sharing that dollar value with us?
I mean, I think we can. I think it's a standard dollar figure
Okay,
that we
so-
pay.
Right, so if you just can, if you are able to share that information with us, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a, just so we're on the same page too, there's a sort of a two-phase, if you will. So there's the annual fee to be in the conduit. Then there is the, what they call make-ready fees. And those are
Both of them.
dependent on, well, so the issue is, they're not always this, they're never the same. Because
That's
depending on
fine.
the length of conduit, the length of conduit, what has to happen to get into the conduit, those streets, permits, all that, digging,
Yes.
they assign a number and then we have to pay that number before they do the
So
work.
if you can share that information so we have a understanding, are you okay with sharing
I
that?
think we should be fine. I mean, I'll triple check with the folks at ours to make sure there's nothing in a Verizon NDA, but I don't believe there is as far
As
as
long
that
as
goes.
all parties are agreeable,
Right.
and if you can share that with us,
Yes,
that would be much
absolutely.
appreciated.
Just going back to the city shadow, make sure that it's tagged city shadow with you being in it.
Okay.
So when each manhole that you're in, tag the applicable conduit.
So 186 and then City Shadow?
Right, so we want to clearly identify it is city shadow and you are an acceptable
Okay.
vendor in the city shadow.
Absolutely.
So this is new installation, this current petition we're on, this is not going in the city shadow duct, right? This grant of location?
This current location is just in the Verizon existing conduit system that's in
Okay,
place
so
now.
this is not digging new conduit.
No, we actually had in the plan, there was 2 sections that we had to excavate between the two to make the connection all the way through, and those were already approved last year, I believe.
Got it. So, Amy, my question is there a rule that we follow for how long one of these fiber optic runs needs to be before they come through PIC? We're having a great time reviewing thousands of these at the
laterals?
commission, and I'm just a little unclear how long it has to be before they need to come to PIC.
Anything that's not a lateral connection typically comes through PIC. So anything that is going from a trunk line that they already have to service a building can be signed off administratively as a lateral. If we're talking about a very small stub to get to 2 manholes that are just jammed up, that can be signed as a lateral. But anything that jogs down an entire block that another company might be interested in also making that run,
Exactly.
that's what will bubble over to PIC to be, so that they're notifying all participants.
Okay, so just to wrap that up, so as we are reviewing these from our perspective and we see runs that are multi-blocks long, but we don't have a problem with it, we can sign off and we'll have the confidence to know that
Yeah, so they
you
go
guys are
through
gonna
you,
catch that.
me, and then I kick them back into PIC.
Perfect.
So the problem, just to bring up his point of view, there is literally thousands of submittals and
I
permits.
signed every one of them.
I do too. I do too. And the bottom line is that if you look at it, you say it's a service connection with the conduit that's going in, yet when they go to install the fiber, it's more than just the service connection. It's coming off the spine and it's like 3, 4, 5 blocks down. I mean, that's concerning.
Right,
I mean,
so
I
that's-
don't know what the
that-
overall build out
that's-
is here.
We typically get it last, and at that point, we just, like, we'll have all of the batch of laterals and we'll peel off any that we say, sorry, this has gotta go to a full PIC hearing.
Because I know you sign it, I sign it, but my permit people are getting, and I'm sure Public Works are absolutely inundated with the number of requests that are coming in saying that they're lateral connections, and I believe they're not. They're basically, for the conduit itself, it's building out a backbone, and I think we need to discuss that, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, we should
I-
discuss it offline.
Yes.
But I've been writing PIC on them. Anyone I see that is multiple blocks long, we do our review and sign off on it, and you've probably seen it.
Yeah,
I'll
so-
write in green pen PIC.
And I think that typically the issue is that we get it last, so that by that time everybody's reviewed it, and then we're telling people, no, sorry, you're in a bigger process, and they're coming back to you anyway. So I think that being able to resolve this early would be much
Amy,
better.
can you take,
Thank you.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
can you take the lead, Amy?
Absolutely.
You are 10 steps
Yep.
ahead. Thank you.
John,
I
do you have a
think Ann
comment?
should be the co-lead.
John, do you have a comment or no? Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments about this PIC item? All right. Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right. I'll entertain a motion on this item.
Joint petition by 186 Communications LLC and Verizon New England Incorporated to amend a grant of location to install new telecommunication fiber and existing conduit within Ipswich Street, as read into the record by the chair, and is shown in a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, grant of location plan, Brookline Avenue to Massachusetts Ave at Boylston Street, Boston, 3 sheets dated August 2017.
All in favor? Aye. So moved. The next item is on a joint petition by 186 Communications LLC and MCI/Verizon Business to amend a grant of location to install new telecommunications fiber in existing conduit within the following public ways in Boston proper: Brookline Avenue, generally between Burlington Avenue and Yawkey Way/David Ortiz Drive; Yawkey Way, generally between Brookline Avenue and Van Ness Street; Van Ness Street, generally between Yawkey Way and Ipswich Street; Ipswich Street, generally between Van Ness Street and Charles Gate; and Boylston Street, generally between Ipswich Street and Massachusetts Avenue. This was new business on September 7th, 2017, and this is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Grant of Location Plan, Brookline Avenue to Massachusetts Avenue at Boylston Street, Boston, 3 sheets dated August 2017.
Right, thank you. Yeah, once again, part of this same run, we pieced together City Shadow, Verizon Corporate, and then this MCI or Verizon Business section connecting up Boylston Street, Yawkey, Vaness, then Ipswich. So we've been able to utilize quite a bit of their conduit, at least that through two licenses that we've gone through the process with them for. So once again, it's the run from all the way down at Brookline Ave to the final destination is over on Wilson Street.
Questions or comments on this requirement?
I mean, this is the way it should work. I mean, you've done due diligence and your research on availability that we're minimizing the excavations. I'm still a little concerned about the build-out and what we're doing here, but this is a model right here. Very good. Good work.
Your time? Members of the public? I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by 186 Communications LLC and MCI Verizon Business to amend a grant of location on Brookline Avenue, Yawkey Way, Van Ness Street, Ipswich Street, Boylston Street, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you very much.
The final item of our public hearing is on a joint petition by the Massachusetts Department of Transportation and the City of Boston Office of the Chief of Streets, Transportation and Sanitation for the widening, relocation, and extension of the existing right-of-way lines of Dorchester Avenue, a public way in South Boston, generally north of Foundry Street. This was new business on September 7th, 2017. This is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Widening, Relocation, and Extension Plan, Dorchester Avenue, South Boston, one sheet dated August 30th, 2017.
David Giangrande, Principal with Design Consultants, and Brian Valancourt with AECom. Design Consultants is the consulting engineer for the South Bay Harbor Trail, and AECom is in support of the right-of-way and is part of our Commonwealth of Massachusetts Mass DOT plan requirements. At our last meeting, we discussed the limits of this particular extension of Dorchester Ave. The southern limit was clearly defined by the street acceptance plan of Dorchester Ave, and the northern limit was just south of the bridge abutment, so that we would have no conflict with that bridge, which is part of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The abutters, it was referred to as owner unknown, and through AECom's research, they found two potential candidates that would be the potential owners of that property through their title exam, and they have co-petitioned here so that we can extend Dorchester Ave to cover this. It's a bit of a bookkeeping issue for the city. We have existing infrastructure there that is crosswalks, pedestrian ramps, etc. And we would like to just extend Dorchester Ave to cover that Gore piece.
Questions or comments?
I think this is an example of a total team effort. Now, between the Commonwealth, the city, Public Works, Transportation, MassDOT, DCI, outstanding job to get this rolling. Some good news on the front funding. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, it was well explained at New Business.
Amir Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
On a joint petition by the Massachusetts Department of Transportation and the City of Boston Office of the Chief of Streets, Transportation and Sanitation for the widening, relocation, extension of the existing right-of-way lines of Dorchester Avenue, as read into the record by the chair and is shown in a set of plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Widening, Relocation, and Extension Plan, Dorchester Avenue, South Boston, one sheet dated August 30, 2017.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Our first item is 35 Lomasney Way, Thoreau Path, Boston proper, and earth retention license on a petition by Equity Residential.
Morning. Here with Kevin Stetson from Sanborn Head, civil engineer, geotechnical engineer. We're here on behalf of Equity Residential and talk about the garden garage project at 35 Lomasney Way. Project site is located on Lomasney Way, bounded by Lomasney, Martha Road, and Thoreau Path in the back in the west end. The proposed project is a 44-story residential tower with 5 below-grade levels of parking. The below-grade parking structure and foundation takes up a large chunk of the site, and the reason that we're here is that we need some excavation support in the public way to enable that foundation to be constructed. So I'll turn it over to Kevin to walk through the details.
Thanks, Chris.
Kevin, please a second. I know you all are the technical people for this project, but is there someone who represents the project itself at this today? How are you, sir? Please feel free to come up. Hi, how are you? Doing fine.
Don't be shy.
It's your project they're speaking for. And I have a question for you, sir. Roughly to the closest $50 million, what is the value of this 44-story project?
To this point, we are still waiting on final contract numbers, but
To the closest 50 million, roughly?
It's going to be 300 or so.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully you can hear me, kind of go over the plan quickly. So the idea here is the above-grade tower is in the front here, it's a fairly small footprint. The line in green is actually the footprint of the below-grade 5-level parking garage. So along Lemansky Way, we would like to put tiebacks to support that slurry wall. We'll put the slurry wall in first, and then as we excavate, we will put the tiebacks in. On the corners, those areas will be corner lock braced for excavation support. Once we're down, constructed the lowest level of footings, come back out of the garage with the slabs. That'll support the slurry wall in permanent condition. All of these tiebacks will be detentioned, cut off at the slurry wall, and grouted to seal the slurry wall. So what we did was we have along the Lemansky Way, that goes to the public right of way. On the opposite side, we have tiebacks that stay within Equity Residential's property, but it's under the easement of Thoreau Path. And that's the other reason why we show those. And we are, the property line kind of makes an odd jog, so we have to do some angling horizontally in the tiebacks to keep the tiebacks on the property line. And we have 3 cross sections to kind of give you a sense of what they look like with depth.
While he's flipping the page, do you have a rendering of the project? Could you bring that to the public hearing, a rendering, if one exists? I'd like to see it.
So, we basically gave each section its own page. You can see here the tiebacks are going to be installed at an angle to avoid all the utilities within the street. And we have significant clearance there. It's always a concern. And it does stay within the right of way.
What would you estimate that clearance to be? I know it's listed as approximate on the detail.
It varies, but like here we're talking, that's about a 5-foot separation.
Settlement issues while construction.
The settlement issues, the street.
Sorry.
Yeah, it will be monitored during construction. You know, we always have concerns during the installation. Well, one of the things that we have put in the specifications for these is these will be cased boreholes while they're putting the tiebacks in. That limits the potential for ground loss during the installation. So they'll drill them in with casing, set the bar, and grout them and extract the casing as they come back out. This will be interesting. We'll have settlement monitoring points along the street to not only monitor during the installation of the tiebacks, but also the excavation.
Sir, if you could be ever so kind, Viola, who runs the steam line through here, we do need to have something for our records noting that you have had these plans reviewed by Viola, who has the steam, because their infrastructure may have seen better days, I don't know, but their infrastructure seems to hiccup all the time, okay? And it is awkward sometimes where PIC action you get caught in the middle. So we need to make sure that they know of your work, have approved, or have if you can make sure that these guys have had their plans reviewed by them.
We have comments from Veolia, or we have a response from Veolia.
Yes, we've been coordinating with Veolia back and forth. Yeah, we have their record plans. They've sent us what they have. We have our record plans, and we basically just told them that we will work with them during the construction process to make sure we don't negatively impact theirs.
So those very good intentions in prior episodes have not quite met our needs. So that we need to have, I mean, there are all utilities, I'm not just speaking on Veolia, but their assets, when it gets disturbed, has some really bad consequences because of the proximity of this location to the federal building and a few other things in that area. So give us some assurances about the communications you all have had with Veolia.
And the same thing with the MBTA. I assume you've already had those conversations around the Green Line Tunnel. Yes.
Just to be clear, the Veolia line, steam line, that's their main distribution line into Cambridge. So it's very important infrastructure.
Well, I guess I'll add to that. You're in receipt of my comments, right? The project team regarding the West Side Interceptor, which is another large sewer that we have, and so I make relatively the same comments every time we have a large excavation, which we see plenty of next to large water and sewer assets, which is the pre and post inspection, video inspection of the sewers, and the settlement deformation monitoring between the point of excavation and our assets. So that's further detailed in my response to you, which Todd and Amy were copied on. But I was thinking about it a couple meetings ago, Perry, you had asked how do we ensure that that happens? And I think what we need to do is when you do the pre and post inspection of particularly the West Side Interceptor, that needs to be submitted to me. To be reviewed by the design team at Boston Water and Sewer. And then the mechanism we'll use going forward to make sure these things happen, along with the settlement data, is that we won't issue water and sewer connection permits to the project until we're satisfied that pre and post inspection after excavation is completely reviewed and signed off on. Because excavation first, utility second. So we will make sure that that's signed off of before the next phase of construction begins. So we'll review those videos.
So, can I ask a question about that? So the site plan is currently at Water and Sewer for review. So if we were to do the pre-video inspection, send that to him, is that?
Send it to me.
Send it to you?
Yeah, send the video inspection, Mike Nelson, Boston Water and Sewer. It'll get there.
Very, very exciting project. Glad to see it happening. Lomancy Way, I think, is going to be disturbed a little bit, the street, by the time you're done through all your constructions, lateral connections, utility connections. I get the feeling the street's going to take a bit of a beating. So once you're all done, have you all given some thoughts as to what you will do to make our street the way it needs to be in front of your wonderful project?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and we have our architect with here. He can kind of.
So could you add some guidance to us?
Kevin Lennon with Elkis Manfredi Architects. We will be back in front of this commission again with the full sort of scope of the work that's going to happen on the sidewalks and all the public areas and the street.
On the other side, we like seamlessness so that the street is complementary of your $300 million investment, right? So that's, and we need you, it will be desirable for you to fold that thing into your scope of work so that the street, the city street that gets chopped up and disturbed is put back. We are not asking anything more, we are asking you to put it back the way it needs to be. And you will look after that, sir?
Yes, there's also sort of a wider scale look that's happening in that whole area that the North Station Transportation Action Plan is doing some work there. So there's that's happening parallel to what the scope that this project is taking on. So.
But everyone should do their part. But
absolutely,
if they fail, we look to you to look after your front door.
Okay. So to echo exciting project, it's a long time coming. However, there will be a few challenges along the way. Specifically with the earth retention system, obviously it's within the public right of way as it fronts on the main street. Guide walls, pre-trenching, pushing out into the Lomancy Way. We have many challenges right now. When is this expected to go under construction?
We talked about late spring, summer potential.
And for how long, sir?
submitting a permit later on in the year, in the next month or so. There's probably 6 months worth of time to take the existing garage down before anything really happens.
So let's take it from the construction end. So you're expecting to start construction, that includes the demo of the existing structure starting summer next year?
No, I think it's
18?
Yeah, it's in the beginning. I think it's the
So
beginning.
18, how many years?
It's about 3 years worth of construction.
So one of the challenges that we're going to be facing with the project, and I have set up a meeting with Howard Stein Hudson, your traffic consultant, to go over specifically as it relates to the earth retention system. We have challenges with the North Washington Street Bridge being under reconstruction. Rutherford Avenue, Sullivan Square, Alfred Street. This is one of the main detour routes for that work. So we're going to have to basically, as far as make this as seamless and not as invasive as
North Station.
North Station, right. So we need to have some discussions on the construction phasing, earth retention as it relates to moving traffic in and through the North Station area while these projects are underway. And they're very important infrastructure improvements for the city as well as your building. But we got to make them all work together.
Okay.
So we're looking to pull that meeting together so that everybody's on the same page as it relates to this project.
The city is not dictating traffic to go through Cambridge, but when people figure out how does one go from Boston to points north, you can go up North Washington Street or down the street near the Science Museum, and you know the route, right? Okay, so you're playing right in front of that space. You don't want everything to go into an awkward situation. So let's work together.
So the initial phasing plans and construction merit plans I've seen, they look pretty good. But I just want to verify some of the assumptions that we're talking about, and I appreciate the earth retention system. It's a little bit more invasive than I thought, but I think we've come up with a plan for it. But we'll confirm that at the meeting. Okay.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Debbie or Todd? Members of the public? All right, is 2 weeks enough time, October 5th, for you guys to come back? All right, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.